Good morning everyone, I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm Mysticle, and today we're going to be taking an updated look at Roblox VR on Quest Standalone. It's been about a month since one of the most anticipated titles launched on Quest Standalone. However, this is not its official final release. The game is in beta, therefore there is a ton of bugs present, and when we took a look at it, we took a look at launch day, meaning it was basically at its worst. I didn't have a lot of incredible things to say about the performance back then, and I actually missed a ton of features that people told me about in the comments section. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. According to SideQuest VR, Roblox VR is getting a ton of updates. Its latest update is actually from yesterday. Now, I don't know the exact changelog of these updates, but I presume they're full of bug fixes and other things that would make the gameplay better. Because the full release of the game isn't actually out yet, the performance when we first tried it wasn't brilliant. I'm hoping that that is fixed today, along with a bunch of other things that hopefully we will be able to change. So in case you don't have the title yet, I will leave a link for it down in the description below. It is an App Lab link, meaning it is not the complete Quest store. It is the Quest store, and you install it just like you would any other app. You don't need a computer, you don't need developer mode on, but it's just not the complete store. An App Lab game will always throw out this error when you first try to install it. With all that out of the way, let's jump into the game and see how much it has truly changed. The first thing I noticed jumping into the game is that you were thrown into the same boring environment. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because I would like to see some sort of development here, some sort of bright, vibrant world going on in the background, kind of like what Questcraft went through. Questcraft originally threw you into just a standard environment. However, now they have this really nice, vibrant world spawn around you even when you're in the menu. I would like to see the same done here. It just looks unfinished, and yes, I know it's a beta, so it's supposed to be unfinished, but to me, and I'm not a developer, this doesn't seem like the most difficult thing to do. After this, we jumped into the VR tutorial, which I either didn't see the first time I jumped into the game, or it wasn't there. But this is incredibly handy for first-time players, as if you don't go through this, you're probably going to miss some of the features that I missed the first time, exactly because I didn't go through this. And in the VR tutorial, it tells you all the standards, how to move, how to rotate, and the fact that you can switch between third-person and first-person view by pressing the thumbstick on the right controller, something I missed the first time and complained about when in reality it was my own fault. Another thing I noticed when I was in the game is the fact that you get the standard annoying VR vignette show up around you. So I launched the menu and turned it off. The menu, by the way, it seems to be a lot more snappy and less glitched than it was the first time, as the first time I jumped into the title, the menu, according to me, was quite glitched and just didn't seem polished or finished. Now it definitely feels a lot more so. It spawns in the right place, the buttons are easier to press, and it just feels a lot more complete. So props there. After the VR tutorial, we jumped into our first title, and I must say, performance is quite a bit better. I was disappointed to see that my hands still didn't line up with my VR hands. However, this was explained to me in the comment section of the previous video, and this isn't actually because of Roblox, which is confirmed by the fact that other titles run perfectly fine. This is actually down to the way developers configure the VR hands, and that is just how the game is going to run. But as I mentioned earlier, in other titles, this actually worked flawlessly. And most of the titles that are created for virtual reality have now taken Quest Standalone into account. And you can see that. They are a lot more polished. In some titles, that universal menu even disappears and doesn't show up until you press the menu button. You've got VR keyboards when you press the joystick on your right controller, instead of being able to switch out to VR view because it's a VR game. And many, many more features. The games seem a lot more polished. The performance is a lot better. I actually did get a few lag spikes here and there. However, I do think this was because I was recording, as the second I stopped recording, all that went away. I do feel like it is important that I mention this, as I feel like a lot of people are going to want to record on Standalone and show it to their friends or start a YouTube channel or something. So yes, currently at this point in time, even on my Quest Pro, it looks like when you record, the game will lag. This will hopefully be fixed with performance bug fixes in the future. But I must say, I'm very impressed with how far the game has come in just a month's time. In fact, a little bit less than a month. As I mentioned, titles created for VR, like this Nerf title, for example, run perfectly fine. They utilize the motion controls, and some of these really feel like full-fledged titles, when in reality, you are just playing a Roblox game. There does seem to be quite a few of these, and they do look pretty cool. But what I think is even cooler is the fact that you can join non-VR experiences in VR. The very first time we jumped in, I got an error message saying that probably most of these titles weren't actually playable on my device, at least yet. Now, I didn't get that error once. It could just be that I was joining the right titles, but I tried a few and they all worked perfectly fine. In titles that aren't created for virtual reality, you won't get the handiness of motion controls. However, you can switch between third and first person, making the gameplay a lot more immersive. And this does also seem to fix the problem that people were having about, Roblox VR not necessarily having enough VR experiences, because not that many people played Roblox VR until you could play it on Quest Standalone. So the amount of experiences that are showing up are really only showing up now, as more and more people get into the VR genre with the Quest Standalone. Overall though, today I had a very pleasant experience. Not that many bugs, performance hiccups, yes, but I do think a lot of those were due to recording. I think that if Roblox VR continues pushing out more VR titles, it could continue to thrive. Do I think that this is the perfect metaverse experience? And do I think that it is going to beat titles like VR Chat? Well, for kids, maybe. Adults, I feel like, are going to continue sticking to VR Chat, at least for now. Maybe in the future, if Roblox gets some very intense, realistic-looking VR titles, people might try and switch over. But for now, I do think that Roblox VR will be mostly dominated by children. Let me know your opinions down below though. Am I wrong or am I right? And let's jump in to the conclusion. So there you guys go. From time to time, I do like going back to these titles and taking a look at them. And since Roblox VR was one of the most anticipated titles to come to Quest, I thought it would be a good idea to take a look a month later and see how many of those major issues have been solved, as well as taking a look at some of the features that I missed the first time I was taking a look at the game, since so many of you were so kind to point that out in the comments section. Let me know what you think about the game and have you been playing it down below. And just as a little bit of a glimpse into the future for those of you that are interested, Roblox is now coming to PlayStation. Not sure how many of you guys knew, but I saw the announcement on Twitter yesterday and it seems to be a pretty big deal. So for those of you that are interested in that and possibly have a PlayStation and want to play the game on PlayStation, very soon you will be able to. When they showed it cross-play with the Quest. Of course, we know that the Quest is cross-play between other platforms because you can even play the flat version of Roblox on it, which is fantastic. And I'm very happy to be seeing more VR titles come out on Roblox as well now, because that's what people were worried about. People were worried, are there going to be enough titles on Roblox VR? Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys liked it, please do leave a like. If you disliked it, I guess the button works too, but let me know why down below. If you guys are now part of our community, check out our Discord and our Reddit down below, where I would love to see you posting your spicy memes. And thank you so much to all the incredible Patreons supporting this channel. You guys are all amazing. Much love to you. Seriously, you're helping me a ton. And as usual, if you guys want me to notify future content coming up on the channel, make sure to smack that subscribe button with your forehead, ding my bell, and see you again in the next video.